Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body.
Hey guys, post-production Kristen here. Just wanted to stop in at the beginning of the episode and give you guys a quick heads up that while I was recording this episode with the lovely CEO and co-founder of Kazmaleje, I didn't notice any issues online when I was listening to her. But then once we were done recording and I went to go edit it, I noticed that the audio on her end is a little bit choppy. I'm not sure why. I tried everything in my power to fix it, but I could not figure it out. It's not that bad, but in the meantime, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I highly recommend paying attention to the subtitles. So if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, head on over to YouTube at A Little Bit A Lot Podcast, so that way you can keep up with the subs, so that way everything she's saying makes a little bit more sense and everything's a little bit more clear. I deeply apologize about that. You guys know that I care about my quality of my audio and my video, so I don't know what was going on with that. I use the same platform I always use, but either way, it's life. And again, I also wanted to give you guys another heads up that she is a busy mom. She's a hard worker. She's a boss. So she did have her toddler with her. Her nanny was out sick, so she had to do what she had to do, but she still graced me with her presence and was able to push through and do the interview in the end. So I really, really appreciate her for that. So just a heads up on that. If you hear a little bit of background noise and the audio is a little bit choppy, that's what's going on. But either way, I really, really hope that you guys still enjoy it and listen to it, because it was such a great conversation. We got into all the gags, talking about business, entrepreneurship, what got her into caring about her natural hair, things like that, reasons why I love her product so much. So again, thank you for your understanding, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Bye. Hello. You're now tuned in to the A Little Bit A Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and I am joined by a very, very special guest. This week, we've got LaToya Stirrup, co-founder and CEO of Kazmaleje. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Kristen. I'm excited to be here. And hello to your entire crew out there. Hello.
Oh my gosh, I was just telling her before we started recording offline that I was so excited for this. For those that don't know, I have done like different podcast episodes exploring natural hair. I had a video actually titled I Hated My 4C Hair. It's talking about my journey with my hair, natural hair, learning to embrace it. And I feel like that's such a common theme in the Black community, like embracing your relationship with your natural hair. Sometimes when you're in different environments, like you can be taught that that's something that you shouldn't love, you shouldn't, appreciate. So I've come a really, really long way with like embracing my natural hair, from being relaxed now to being natural since 2020. And I best decision, hands down, could not love it more. So this was like a perfect opportunity to be able to have like a co-founder and CEO of a brand who primarily focuses on all things like natural hair. So really, really excited about that. I wanted to start off with asking you about your brand, Kazmaleje. Well, before we do that, I wanted to let you know like my relationship with your brand, because when I tell you that my wash days were absolutely horrid, like when I first started my natural hair journey, I had to go through the gags, the gigs, the trials and the tribulations and the struggles. And my sister and I actually started our natural hair journey around the same time. And before I found your product, I have it right here. Is it the paddle comb, right?
Comb. We could talk about that. Yep.
This is my tried and true. When I say that I literally had actual tears, literal actual mental breakdowns before like finding this product when it came to detangling. And I remember one day I was at Target, I saw this and I'm like, this feels like this might be the product for me. And tremendous turnaround once I started using this to detangle. So when I say I live and breathe and
thank you so much
behind this product, I just wanted to let you know, like face to face, how much this has genuinely impacted and helped my wash day so much.
I'm so delighted to hear that. And all of the things that you said is exactly why we did this. Because
like you, that leads us into how you started it.
Yeah. just like you, I've been natural since 2008, and I just was like, this cannot be my life, right? This cannot be my experience with my natural hair. Like every time I comb it, wads of hair is coming out. Like it's just a mess. There's like hair popping out everywhere, and it takes a long time. And while you're doing it, you're just like, "Should I continue to do this? Should I go back and get a relaxer?" Like it's all you go through. The psychology of hair, especially for Black women, is really intense. And it's because
Yeah.
of societal pressures. It's because for many of us, we grew up with perms. So we know how to maintain and care for permed hair. When we had our natural hair, we were much younger. So for most of us, our
Right.
moms were our hairstylists. Apologies for the background noise, y'all. My toddler is here with me, so he is just over here living his best life. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But
I
yes,
can.
so we just really wanted to kind of redefine and reimagine that. And what we did is we basically changed the shape of the teeth on our hair tools to mimic the shape of our fingers. So when you look at the teeth on our combs, they're round, smooth, conical in shape, very much similar to the tip of your finger. They're thicker, they're stronger, they're durable, they're sturdy, they're multifunctional, they're everything that we felt like we needed. And that wasn't our. And so we launched them in 2019, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since. So I'm so delighted to hear that you found us, especially in Target, one of our major retail partners. So that's amazing.
Especially with you say with it mimicking like your fingers, because then there's a time where you're like, okay, well, should I start finger detangling because I'm watching YouTube
Yep.
videos? So many people are saying that, but that takes
Time.
work in itself and
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right? So when you have something like this that mimics your fingers,
Mhm.
and then on top of that, the cleanup on this brush is the easiest cleanup on any other type of hair product that I have,
Yeah.
hair tool that I have. Like I just rinse mine in the shower, and then like the little bit of hair that's even in
Yeah.
there will fall out. Which, speaking of, like when it comes to breakage, don't have that when I use this product. Minimal fallout,
Love
incredible.
it.
Like I'm losing so much less hair since I've been using this product.
Yeah.
The handle, it's smooth. The fact that it has some weight on it,
Mm-hmm.
you can, a lot of times I like grabbing it just from like this end, or sometimes even when I want to really
I
get
was
in
gonna say
there, I
that's
hold
how
it
I
like
hold
this,
it.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. So I hold it like up here, two fingers kind of like on the handle, and then the rest
yes,
of my fingers are up here, and it really just kind of like gives you the grip, and it keeps the handle in available, so you could like flick the wrist to keep doing like this, and you don't have to
right.
swap between tools. You could just use one tool to kind of like section, keep combing through part a little bit, section, keep combing through. Like we really kind of wanted to just change a lot of that experience.
Yes, yes. And I feel like it also helps you get through bigger
Yep.
sections as
Mm-hmm.
well, because that was a problem with other tools that I was using. I could only go so big of a section, where now
Yep.
I'm able to kind of really take a bigger section so I can get through it a lot quicker. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is holy grail. And I told my sister about it. I'm like, this brand was also started by sisters. And I'm like, I'm going to put you on, sis. We need to
Love
get you
it.
one of these. And I went to Target that day and bought another one for her. And then
Yay.
she was kind of skeptical because she had her tried and true like detangling
Mhm.
comb. But I'm like, girl, no, you have to try this one. And she was like, girl, life changer.
Love it. Love it. And that's another great point that you just made too, Kristen. It's on the teeth, right? Because the teeth are very long, you can actually comb through the hair. Instead of like a lot of other detangling brushes, they kind of just scratch at the surface. Or you have to do super
Right.
skinny sections in order for it to like really comb through. And that again just adds to the time. And for a lot of us, we have other things to do. So sitting for like an hour just to detangle your hair, you haven't even styled it yet. Like that's too much.
It is. My detangling time, I feel like, was taking me over an hour with the little amount of sections that I had to do.
Yeah.
And plus, it was hurting
Mhm.
me. This product does not hurt me whatsoever. And like I said, I'm able to use bigger
Yeah.
sections. Like, holy grail, 10 out of 10. And the fact that it comes in different colors too, guys. Like, seriously, I would not lead you astray. Like, life changer. I told my hairstylist about it too. I'm like, girl, we got to get this in the salon because she's a
Yes.
natural
You're
hair
amazing. We
stylist
would
as
love that.
well.
Absolutely. We wholesale to
Yes.
salons for sure. So yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. So for all of my like salon girlies out there, she runs a private suite just by herself. Anyone out there that's, doing that as well, like highly recommend if you work with primarily natural hair, like all hair types, especially like I mentioned you talk about in some of your interviews, but focus on like type 4 hair.
Yeah.
It's going to do what it needs to do.
Exactly.
So that leads me to my next question, where I wanted to know like what your hair journey has been like, and how long have you been natural? Well, you did say since 2008, is it? And like what led you to embrace your natural hair?
So my first journey with natural hair started in 2006. I was still living in New York City at the time. And it was right around like the beginning of the bubble, right? You started to see more people kind of going natural. Back then, this is like pre-YouTube maybe. You had a lot of the like chat rooms that existed. So there were like chat rooms of people sharing tips and tricks and things. And you were starting to see different products emerge on the market. Once I was back home, I couldn't find a stylist to maintain my hair. So I ended up getting a perm. And then in 2008, I was like, I'm done on the creamy crack. Like, I'm tired of my scalp burning. I'm going to go back to trying this natural journey again. So I did it in 2008, and I was able to find the stylist and the support system that I needed. And both times I did the big chop. I'm not a transition person. I transitioned maybe for a little bit just to have a decent amount of new growth, but then I chopped it off. Like, for me, I think big chopping is a great way for you to learn how to care for your hair because you're dealing with it at a shorter length. So as it grows, you grow. And also your curl pattern, you'll notice changes from that initial big chop from getting it chemically relaxed. Like over time, it'll change. And so it just allows you to like experiment with your hair, learn your hair before it becomes a huge afro. Because the more hair you have, the more work you have to do, right? You're twisting if you want to twist. So it's going to take a little bit longer to kind of get through everything. So it allows you to build up to more of a larger hair care routine if you big chop. But if you transition, totally, that's up to choice. That's a you choice sort of a thing. But I'm a big chop person. But I like to color my hair all the time. Like I'm shaving my side. I like to have fun. My hair is a bit of a canvas for me. So that's that's me.
So you're a color girly. Yes. I know a lot of people in the natural hair community can be a little bit afraid of being, color. No. I have wanted to try to color my hair for a while, but I'm so scared.
Growing up, we always went to a salon. Like we always had stylists. So we weren't, I'm not a DIY person. Like I would never try to DIY color my hair. I love having a great stylist relationship, someone who knows my hair, knows how I like to look. Like and for me, it's a relationship thing. Like I come in there, I could be like, hey, I think I want like a rose gold blonde. And then she could be like, yeah, so she gets it, she understands it. So for me, it's fun and it's relaxing to have someone else be able to wash and care for your hair because they can see your hair at a different vantage point than you can. They can see your scalp. They can see like different sections. Your vantage point, and you're trying to use mirrors. So it's harder for you to really kind of understand what's going on your head when it comes to your hair. So having a really great hairstylist relationship is key.
I totally agree. My sister and I, we had a podcast together for a short amount of time, and we did an episode where we talked about how like our journey to finding that key relationship with a stylist. And now we finally found someone who specializes in natural hair, who understands what we want. And that changed the game tremendously, with our confidence in our natural hair and knowing that someone, understands and wants to protect the natural hair for what it is at its core is like so, so important. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that because like you got to have that relationship.
Absolutely. And especially if you're going to play with things like color or you're going to like straighten your hair. Like you need someone who knows how to properly apply heat without damaging your curl pattern. So all of that comes with expert training, and then, in case you get a little crazy at home, having someone that you can go to like, oh, girl, I think I messed up a little bit. Can you fix it? Like, you need to have someone that you can have those honest conversations with. And I'll say too, just
my mom is so good for that.
Right. Like, oh, I think I let the curl knot get a little too hot. It's not quite curling on over here anymore. What can we do? Help me out. That's what a stylist is for. And also too, as a mom, right? Postpartum breakage. Like I said, your hair's gonna shed a lot after you have a baby. So having a stylist who can also help you during that phase, so maybe like give you a different haircut to where it doesn't look so crazy. You know what I mean? Stylists are great for everything, and there's many therapists too. They will talk to you as they massage your scalp and get the dandruff off and things like that. It's important.
Exactly. And I like the point that you made about like it being okay whether you want to be a transition girly or if you want to just do big chop. Like my sister was a transition girl, but I was a big chop girl. So it's really individualized to your journey. But I really like the point that you made where you can see the hair changing over time, because when I did my big chop in 2020, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, like I see my hair transforming as it's growing. I thought my curl pattern was this, but then as it grew out, different. It changed. Yep. So I really highly recommend, like, whether you do a transition or a big chop, like there's pros and cons for both, but I'm personally a big chop girl as well. So I also wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite protective styles?
So protective styling, I braids now. I'll say I do braids. So I'm not really into like wigs and extensions. While our hair tools are really great for wigs and extensions, because it doesn't pull the hair out of the wigs and extensions, and we're actually doing some partnerships there. I tend to just prefer braids. I think just because of ease a little bit, and then I don't know. Yeah, I would say more so like braids and twists, sorts of styles, or more so speed. When I was sort of earlier on in my natural hair journey, I would do like twisted styles. There was like a fantastic stylist here who would really get artistic with like twists. And like on your natural hair, so without like adding extensions, but just like natural hair twists. She was fantastic. She was from like up north DMV type area, so stylists in the Northeast have a little bit of a different experience because the natural hair community is a little bit older there, right? So you have more stylists there, you have a lot more skills and training there. So at that time, natural hair wasn't super big down here in South Florida. So finding her was fantastic. So she was able to do lots of different styles. I haven't done any of that in a while. But I would say that was fun too, to sort of experience that.
I agree with you. I love both the box braids, but right now I have my mini twists in. Yeah. I love both. Like the variety with natural hair. Yes. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I used to love, there was a good section where I would wear my hair straight quite a bit. And I had a fantastic stylist. So my curl pattern was never damaged. So I could kind of go back and forth. Like I could wear it straight, and then once it starts to get a little wonky, because we're in Florida, humidity, all the things, put some water on it, it'll go back to what it needed to do. But I love that. I love the fact that we can be braided, twisted, faux locked, kinky coily the first one day, blown out, big puff the next day. Space ball buns one day. Like, it's just so much fun, which is one thing I just loved early on, because I remember back when I was employed, I was working in advertising, and that was the fun thing too, because being in the creative industry, I didn't feel pressure to show looking a certain way. Like, they completely embraced my natural hair, and my coworkers were like, we need to do a whole calendar of all of LT's hairstyles, because every day I was coming in with something different, whether it was like a faux hawk or big fro one day, like twist the next day. Like, they had fun just watching my hairstyle change all the time. So I love the versatility of natural hair.
Yeah, and being able to be in an environment like that, in a workspace that appreciates that, is so great. I know a lot of people haven't been so fortunate to be in that type of environment, but I'm really hoping that with the different policies that are going into change, with like them not being able to discriminate against women of color in workspaces, like we can really make a change going forward. But I totally agree with that. Like, I love that they were able to just be like, let's see what she's doing now. So we talked about the protective styles, but let's get like back into the business a bit. I wanted to know what your favorite part about being a CEO and a co-founder is.
I would say what I love most about this journey is the creative journey, right? So the ability to be able to bring an idea to life is a lot of fun. It's hard too. But I would say it's incredible to see something that you thought about, you dreamt about, you were like, could it work? Is it possible? And then when you bring it to market, and then to talk to customers like you, Kristen, who are like, oh my God, like this is what I needed in my life. And so for me, I'm like, I knew you were out there. Like that connection is exactly what it is, right? Because as founders and creators, we see something and we're like, I feel like this will make sense for someone in the world. And then when you connect it to someone and you hear them feed back to you what you put into it, it's just a complete 360 moment and it makes it so worthwhile.
Yeah, like we need to be able to have those visionaries to push those products forward that we are so desperately needed, because there is no other hair tool out there like yours. It's so unique and it's much, much, much needed. So I appreciate you for that. So I wanted to also know, since I have a sibling as well, a sister that I'm really, really close with, I wanted to get a little bit into what your favorite part of working with your sisters in business is, and how do each of your strengths complement each other when it comes to running Kazmaleje, because I know that it's not super common for families in business. So, because it can get a little crazy. Me and my sister, when we're trying to do something professional, we get a little, bickered, but it's like, how does that work? Like, how is it, the vibe for you guys, and how do you guys flow and complement each other?
So I would say it's fun because we're similar yet different at the same time. All of us have sort of like marketing and advertising backgrounds, but then Latasha, who is my middle sister, she actually has always been like the hairstylist in the family. So she's the one that like does our braids. She's the one who did a lot of like my fun, funky styles when I had like big hair back in the day. Like we would do like experiment. I was like, oh, I got this idea. Like put a braid here and like put a puff right here and all the things. So that's who would do those types of things. And so she actually went back and got her license in cosmetology. She's a licensed cosmetologist. In addition to, again, her background being her actual degree is like finance, business finance and marketing. And then Latrice, my youngest sister, comes from like a nonprofit marketing background, but she actually likes to be hands-on behind the scenes. So when we were doing our own fulfillment in the beginning of our journey, she was the one doing the picking and the packing and the shipping, as well as the support emails, and just the one who was responding to customers at that time. And so we all kind of like had our roles to fill. So it wasn't a lot of like arguing about the same things because we weren't trying to be in each other's lanes. Like I completely let them run with that stuff. I was like, yeah, take customer service. It's too much for me. I can't. Let me stay over here in this project management production space where I work with like our vendors and our suppliers and managing the teams and the things like that. So it works. I think what makes family business hard is when you don't have clear roles and responsibilities and the lines of communication aren't clear. When you have that kind of set up and everyone knows what their role is and the strengths that they have, who kind of like has the say on what, it just makes the communication so much easier.
That's what I love so much about your story, like with your sisters, is that you guys realized early on what your strengths are, what you would prefer to lean onto, and it makes you realize how many different sides of the business there really are. So the fact that each of you were like, okay, I'm going to stay in this lane, I'm going to stay in this lane. And, and the fact that there's like 3 of you, that's like awesome in itself, because it's like, okay, now we can really kind of just cover a wide variety while staying in the spot in the lane that we enjoy. Because I feel like it would probably like not be so much fun if you had to focus on like the other side of like, oh, the customer service, like you said, where that was her strength, where you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on, the production and this, that,
exactly.
And the other. So
Yeah. Like the customer service was a thing. Like it would stress me out. I'd be like, yeah, no, y'all, I'm not going to take this. I can't. It's a lot. But yeah, no, and that's why one of the things you tend to see me more in terms of like speaking, because that's where I like to do. Like I love to converse. I like to share. I like to pitch. Speaking is a part of my degree. Like my degree is communication and advertising, and so like speaking, I've been on the radio before. I've had a podcast, so I can do all day.
I love that you guys are also leaning onto your degrees as well.
Yeah.
I know sometimes like it's easy to like have your degree and then you usually don't do anything with it, but you guys are able to like lean into that.
Yeah.
So I love that too.
Thank you.
I also wanted to know, what is the most rewarding moment for you since launching Kazmaleje?
The rewarding moment I say is the fact that we're still here, like every day.
Yes.
Literally, the founder journey, especially when you're, it can be scary sometimes, and it can be very challenging because it's not as if you're resting on millions of dollars. Because oftentimes money can fix things, right? Money can, like, if something happens, you could pay somebody to fix it. And there's solutions there because you have options when you have money. When you're bootstrapped, you have to be really creative, and it also requires you to put a lot of sweat into things. And so it could become very hard. It can become, I was literally just having a conversation last night with the founder. We were at Lightship Capital was having a showcase here, and we were on a panel. We were literally just talking about the roller coaster of emotions that you go through as a founder. And a lot of people don't necessarily talk about that side of it, right? When you look at Instagram, you see the flashiness, the glitz and the glam, and all the like, oh, wow, razzle dazzle. But there's so much that goes on the personal level when you talk about being a founder. And sometimes it can be a point to where it becomes too much, which is another conversation that's seeing on social media, is how you're seeing a lot of Black brands are now no longer on shelf anymore. A lot of Black brands went into mass retail, during the 2020 COVID era, and now you're not really seeing some of those same brands there anymore. So it's a real thing. Talk about DEI and the attack on certain funds that are there to help support us, because we may not have access to traditional loans and capital or VC funding. We have to find capital through alternative means. And a lot of that was through grants and pitch competitions. So we need options and solutions. And I think that is, when you just compound all that together, it can be a really, really tough situation in a scenario for founders. And I think that we have to get better about celebrating even the small wins, because that's what helps to keep you going.
Yeah, I would really love to be able to see those conversations more often.
Yeah.
Like the grind, like the blood, the sweat, and the tears that goes on.
Absolutely.
Like I'm probably like the mental tax that it probably takes on you.
Yeah.
Like to continue to just keep pushing through. I'm sure there's some days where you're like, I don't even want to deal with this anymore right now.
Literally.
Like, actually, it's a job. Do I want to be a business owner? Because that is tough.
It's tough
to keep thugging it out. I mean, even with just my podcast, some days I'm like, but
right.
like,
but you tap back into your why, and you tap back into what you're doing it for, and the bigger story of it all. So yeah, so you have to tap back into that, which is why when we first started out and you were sharing your story, I was like, that's a part of my why. Like hearing your experience, and you echoing back to me what we set out to do, just closes the loop, and it's like, okay, we're hitting the things that we need to hit. We're doing the things that need to get done.
I think anytime, whether it's a business or just any type of endeavor that you're like trying to tap into, focusing on remembering your why is just such an important thing for people in general to remember through life, because it can get so easy when you're going through the motions and you're like, okay, this is not working out. These obstacles are in my way. Like every single day is a challenge and I'm tired of fighting. Like focusing on that why and like the original plot of the story is really going to help you have longevity. So I'm really glad that like you reiterated that as a co-founder and CEO, that it's like it from the top of the table all the way down, like we all go through it and we all have to push through and remember our why and our purpose and remind ourselves of that like every day. So that just feels really good, like to hear that, from someone in your position, that like you guys have, those struggles too. And every day you choose to like put yourself first and remember your why. So I love that. And then like that also taps into like wondering how you maintain your work-life balance and take care of your mental health when you go through these struggles and adversity. Like, what do you have a routine? Like, how do you make sure that you maintain that?
So yes, work-life balance is a constant evolution. I would say that Yes, and especially when you add being a mom on top of it too, right? Because you have to find the moments for it. So to me, it's a lot of listening to my body and paying attention to what I may need in the moment. So it could be a tough day, and I've been a member of like Massage Envy for a very long time, even back when I was like employed. And I love it because I can call like at noon and be like, is there an opening? Can I come get a massage at 6? Like sometimes you just need that quick out.
Right.
And that's really what it is. So it could be taking a walk outside, it could be meditating, it could be working out. I really just kind of like listen to what I need at the moment, and I try to go do it or find the time to do it. And if you're not listening, then that's how things can compound and build up over time. You want to kind of jump in and try to intersect something before it becomes, because things manifest as illness in our body, right? So if you're not actively managing it and you're not paying attention to it and you're just letting things build up, your body's going to start to let you know that something is not quite right. So I try to pay as much attention as I can. And like I said, it could be as simple as just taking a salt bath, closing the door, and playing some music and letting the household be the household without me.
No, that is such a real like mom thing, because sometimes you literally just have to let it be chaos out there
Right.
and be like, that's my problem when I get out of this tub.
But right now,
That's not my problem.
for these 30
But
minutes,
right now,
it's me.
like it's literally just me versus me in this tub with my thoughts, and I just gotta cruise through. Oh my gosh, that is so funny, because like my mom is totally the same. She's like, that's my problem in 30 minutes, not right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, so we've talked about like what started the journey, the focusing on the why. Do you have any advice for people that are aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself, or even just content creators?
Absolutely. So advice would be kind of going back with something that we just talked about, which was finding your why. Like literally, you need to have something bigger than making money as your why. Because a lot of times, especially in business, product-based businesses, you're going to spend money before you make money. So you need to have
Yeah.
something bigger than money to push you forward. Because there's going to be moments where you're like, oh, we balling, we rich. And then there's moments where like, oh, can we keep the lights on? Like, it is just an ebb and flow situation. It is what it is. Especially while you're growing, right? Because you have to reinvest all the time. So if you're going into a new retailer, you have to invest in the inventory paid on it. Like the cycle of cash in, cash out is just intense, and you need to be ready for that. So that's why you need to have a really strong why outside of making money. When it comes to content creation, listen, I need the tips and tricks because I'm not the best with it. Our marketing agency is like, you owe us videos. I'm like, I know, but life is lifing at the moment. So what I would
I
say
know that's right.
is, the theory of it all is to be consistent and plan as much as you can. But when you're juggling a lot of things, it's hard to even find time to record. So I feel like some advice that I'm taking when it comes to content creation is being okay with showing up authentically, and like it is what it is, right? So you may not always look dolled up and glam to the gods when you're doing videos, and that's okay because sometimes people just want to see what you look like. Like today, I literally was like, "Oh, we about to go on at 5 minutes." I put on some like liquid and tinted makeup real quick, some mascara, brush my eyebrows, and I was like, "Hey, girl, we here." and we're
And you make it
and we
work.
doing what we doing with my toddler on the lap. That's just how you have to show up in the authentic moment because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and I think that's like the number one compliment that I get with my content is that people appreciate my authenticity. It's like I'm just gonna keep it real and show up as myself, and that's all I can do. I try to just like give that clean girl like aesthetic in the beginning, and I'm like, this is not me, babe. Like I'm not really feeling this.
Right.
So it's like when you stay true to who you are, like you will go far. So I really appreciate that, like you understand the importance of that. Cause I know like, I just wanted to ask about the content creation side because I know that you've kind of dabbled in that, like you said, with your podcasting I've listened to like a few episodes and stuff like that, and like you've done appearances, so I know that you appreciate that side of the internet as well, like the marketing when it comes to your business, but also like the content creation
No,
too.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. And it's something that I am actively working on getting better at. It's just like life is life, and sometimes I just look like a hot mess, like I just got rolled out of bed. And I'm like, it's gonna take a second for me to get camera ready, like, okay, camera ready. So it's those moments where you're like, yeah, maybe not today.
right. Oh my gosh. No, that is so real. So like anybody out there, like don't feel that pressure. Like trust me, if you just do
Yeah.
you, like it's gonna be fine. It's really not that serious.
No, and almost too, part of the reason why I'm like braids are easy right now. We just got back to school,
Yes.
and I'm like, I just have hair where it's like I could like almost wake up and go. This
Yep.
type hair. So that's why I'm like, we just use braids for like August, September till we get back into a swing and a rhythm. So yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Oh, I love the convenience of that. That's why I'm like gearing up to like get my braids going into the fall, because it's
Yeah.
like I don't have time right now. I'm trying to focus on,
Listen.
everything else I need to focus
Right,
on.
right. I mean, because that's why we started the whole company, right? Was because we wanted to enable and allow and make hair care simpler. And so that is even for those of
Yes.
us who are like, don't have the time. And when I take these braids out, I'm absolutely going to be using our hair tools because my hair is going to be, you have your hair when it's in braids for a while and you need to detangle it and all the things. So we designed these
Yes.
tools not only for caring for your natural hair when you're wearing it out, but then also for the takedown moments and the different things like that. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up, because like that takedown, when I'm able to use this tool after taking those braids out, when you have that matted hair,
Yeah.
you have that gel, like,
All the
oh my
things.
gosh, tremendous. Because that's like the part of why it takes me so long to finally get to the takedown, because I'm dreading that detangle, because that's a different beast.
It's a different beast. It's a different beast. And it's like a pre-detangle kind of. You wash and it's like the real detangle. And then you twist it up and it's like the
Right.
detangle the next day because you got to like redo it again a little bit. It's stages. It's stages.
Right. But it's like you have tools like this, it's gonna help you through every single
stage.
stage.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I
Yes.
really, really appreciate your time. I just wanted to know, do you have any final thoughts or messages that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes. So thank you so much, Kristen, for having me on the show. It has been so much fun. I've loved to hear and learn about your journey with your hair and to share a bit of my experience. Definitely for everyone who is looking to purchase Kazmaleje, you can find us on Target.com in Target stores, Walmart.com, Walmart stores. We just launched in Claire's as well. So for the moms, the teens, and the
Oh, that's
tweens,
exciting.
we're in Claire's, which is exciting. You can also find us at Wegmans, Amazon, and on Kazmaleje.com. That is KAZMALEJE.com.
I didn't even know that you were in Walmart or Claire's. Like, what?
Yeah, Walmart as
This
of
is
this past like late March, early April, and then Claire's
Oh,
this
that's
month.
great.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'll make sure that I link everything in the description on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify for you guys to check that out. Highly, highly recommend this product. It seriously is a game changer. If you have type 4, but specifically the 4C girlies, it's going to like help you tremendously with your wash day. I'm talking cut time in half. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so, so much for your time. I appreciate that. And if you guys are listening on YouTube, make sure you give this video a like, comment down below to let me know, what does your hair care routine look like? What are you open to using this product for detangling? Let me know. Subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, rate that 5 stars, leave that review. With that, I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with y'all. Mini skirt